Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Well, we have our Santa hat on the Highland cow back there, and we have our sleigh bells because this is indeed a holiday video. It is November, and so many of us are starting to look at our holiday wish lists for ourselves, for friends, for lucky loved ones, that kind of thing. And as you know, if you've been following me for a while, I read all of my comments and respond to all of my comments too. As a matter of fact, if you don't hear back from me, it probably means you got caught up in some sort of spam filter and you should try again. I read them all. Here's what I'm hearing. Everyone is saying it's been absolutely overwhelming this season, more than other seasons really, with all of these holiday release eye palettes. And I've been doing swatch comparisons for people. People are genuinely confused because none of us want to miss out, but none of us want to be bankrupt either. So what do we buy? What do we not buy? So what I have done today is I have gotten as comprehensive as I could all the holiday eye palettes from about 8 or 9, it looks like, different brands, and swatches galore. So many swatches that, ooh, I was actually sore. You know, whoever thought that makeup could be hard work? But if you've ever swatched a lot, I mean, my fingers were sore. It's hard work. So enjoy all the swatches. I encourage you to freeze the frame and examine, compare. Now, what I did was I compared, I kind of put all the brands together in swatches. I didn't cross-brand as much, but that is what I'm using my Instagram for. Please follow me on Instagram and you can request here or over there any sort of cross swatches that you would like to see to help you make your purchase decisions. We're also going to talk prices today, and I'm also going to tell you what's good and what's not. And at the very end, out of all of them, I'll tell you if you're only going to get 3 or 4 or 1 or 2, what your best bets are, and we'll do it by brand as well. So I'm hoping to give you guys a lot of information, and I've got so many palettes covering my table here. So let's go ahead and jump into it and get started. And we're going to start with the holiday eye palette releases from Natasha Denona. The first one we're going to start with is the Glam palette. Yes, this is a holiday release. It doesn't seem like it because it was a while ago. This is one of her little mini guys. It is $65, which is such a tasty price point for Natasha Denona. Comes in this beautiful gray here. Down below, I will, of course, I neglected to mention, down below I will have all of the links to the original reviews of these palettes, and all of these little guys will also have little convenient shopping links that you can click on and shop your holiday shopping right from this video. Those are affiliate links, but they don't cost you even a penny more. They do give a little bit back to the channel though. So wow, I'd love your support with that. Okay, so let's start back to where we were talking about the Glam palette. This is a nice, cool, beautiful palette. Cool and warm, I should say, actually a little bit of everything. Let's look at it up here close first, and then we'll go to the swatch. We've got cool silvers and browns and some slightly warmer little golds in there. This is a beautiful palette. She has a mini Glam that you might have seen. This is the slightly larger $65 Glam palette. Each one of these shades performs beautifully. Sometimes Natasha Denona's palettes have been a bit hit and miss. This is 100% hit. Let's go to the arm swatches. Here is the Glam palette just on its own. Check that out, and you can see all the shades lined up there. These are slightly smaller pans, but you get 15 shades, and they are all beautifully performing. Some say they're a little bit similar to one another. I got many different looks, and they are all very flattering. A second, more affordable palette from Natasha Denona for the holidays is her mini Zendo palette. This is a little $25 guy where you get 5 shades of pinks and a little bit of blues and browns. Let's take a look at that up there. We got some matte shades, and we have some kind of shimmer shades in there, beautiful. And what I have done here for you on the arm swatch is just for fun. I have left the Glam on and I have put the Zendo up top. So take a look at that. There's Glam and it's compared to Zendo. The Zendo was actually compared to the other $25 Mini Retro, but the Mini Retro is not a holiday palette, so I didn't bring it in here. However, in my original video of the Zendo, I do compare it to the Mini Retro. So you can always click below to take a look at that. That is a very affordable little palette. Now the Zendo has gotten some rave reviews and some mixed reviews. Some feel that the last two shades right here and right here can be patchy. I think it's one of those issues where it depends what palette you got. I have had no trouble with my Zendo and I enjoy it very much, but I do need to tell you that some people have found the last two shades a little bit patchy and problematic. For 25 bucks though, it's a really fun way to enjoy Natasha Denona. Natasha Denona's last holiday release and her biggest holiday release is her Triochrome palette. The Triochrome palette is a larger palette. So this one sells for $129. Has this very cool, as you can see, kind of ombre case. The Triochrome palette is a palette based around matte, kind of pastel shades. And then down the middle of the palette is a Triochrome shade. Let's take a look at this little fella on the arm. Here it is alone on my arm, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. When I first got it, I found some of the shades a little bit patchy, but I've been working with it a lot. I am wearing the Natasha Denona Triochrome on my eyes today. It is meant, and you'll see if you click on my original review, this palette is meant to be worn for the most part in rows. So this row of mattes supports this Triochrome, and these four mattes support this Triochrome, etc., etc. I actually jumped around the palette a little bit today just to kind of have a purpley rosy eye. And I did put one of the Triochromes on. The Triochromes here are not extremely vibrant. You're not getting like a Cleona look or even a Pat McGrath look, and you're not even getting a Natasha Denona, the chromium liquid eyeshadow look. You're not even getting anything that dramatic, but they are very subtle and pretty. I wish this had been a $65 mini palette. I don't know about it as a $129 larger palette. So this is one of Natasha's I would probably skip. Of the Natasha Denona 3 here, my favorite is by far, I think you could tell, the Glam palette. Nice $65 price point, all beautiful shadows, zero disappointments, and no controversy. The Glam, I think, is your best bet price and performance-wise from Natasha Denona. Remember, all my original reviews are linked below, so you can check that out. Okay, let's talk about some holiday releases from Makeup by Mario. Makeup by Mario launched on his site and on Sephora, the shop that he used to work at. And then right after it launched, came the holiday collection. So we're kind of going to group them into one in terms of eye shades. The first thing I want to show you is his Master Mattes palette. And I'm looking through them here. They all look the same, so I got to open them. The Master Mattes palette is a beautiful, you can go anywhere with this. It can match you can look at your skin tone, or you can go darker or lighter. And I know that Mario, the makeup artist himself, will often start an eye with this look, and then he'll build from there, or it can be worn alone. So we're going to show you that. We also want to show you, I'm going to put these all together in one swatch. I want to show you the Master Metallics, which was released at the same time. These are all metallic shades. Mine's a little messy because I've been in there. I find these incredibly well performing. I wear them all together. I do not put a matte in with them. I use the darker of the metallic shades in the crease and work around that. I find these to be very good performing shades. Each of these, the Master Mattes and the Master Metallic, are $48. So you can start planning and budgeting. And I think they are both very good buys. Then came along his little Mario Glam quads. And these were especially for the holidays. I have the Rosy Glam right here. These little guys are a fantastic buy at $25 each. There are 3 different versions. This is Rosy Glam, and I will put up the other 2 for you to take a look at. All 3 of these little mini palettes are $25, and they are a combination mattes and metallics and shimmer. And they are a really good buy. So let's take a look at the 3 that I showed you here on my arm. We have the Master Mattes on the left, the Master Metallics on the right, and then above it, I put the Rosy Glam palette, just that I have. There are 2 more of those little Glam palettes, just for you to kind of take a look at it on the arm. Now, in terms of Mario, I think your best bet, actually, believe it or not, are these little $25 quads. There's 3 to choose from. They're inexpensive, they're well-performing, and they're very pretty. They would make really nice gifts too for a family member or a makeup lover for $25. What a stocking stuffer. Pretty good stuff. You can't do much better than that, especially if we're talking about high-end and luxury makeup. I hope I haven't lost you yet. I know I'm going quickly. We got a lot of material to get through here, class. Okay, next up, Scott Barnes. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about Scott Barnes. First of all, let's look at his 2 holiday releases that I have, and then we'll talk about the holiday vault that was introduced at time of filming yesterday. So let's first talk about the Glamazon palette. This is an $84 palette. Looks like this on the outside, makes a really nice presentation as a gift. This is a flashback to the 90s. Look at all the shades in here. We have like, is it like 20? Yeah, we have 20 shades in here. Look at that. That's a lot. And they're all kind of matte and a little bit of shimmer. Very 90s throwback, very cool palette with some pops of color. And what Scott was celebrating here, Scott Barnes, we're not on a first name basis, sorry. What Scott Barnes was celebrating here was, it was kind of an ode to the supermodels of the 90s, getting that look and that feel back of that era. And this is a lot of fun. The colors are very well performing. It is $84. And though often Scott Barnes is accused of price gouging, and we'll talk about that in just a moment, I think this is worth it. It is not made in Italy or the US. It is, you know, made kind of in a more inexpensive way, but he does put a lot of attention into the colors and the pigments, not as much the packaging. I think this is worth it, and it's a really fun, beautiful palette for $84. Let's talk about what started off upsetting people, and that was this Mesmerize palette. The packaging on it is amazing. Look at that. It shifts from a kind of a panther to a woman. I hope it's shifting for you there. The packaging makes a wonderful gift for this Scott Barnes palette. There is a satin inside. I don't know if you can see that there. It's a beautiful case. It's really beautiful. Inside we have 2 very dark jet black liners and 6 metallic shades. So you can kind of take a look at that. The problem was that this palette went for $120. And that was kind of troublesome. So let's look at it on the arm first. We have the Glamazon there on the bottom underneath. That's the $84 palette. You get a lot of makeup for $84. And then above it, while I'm putting things away here, you'll see the $120 Mesmerize palette. That is not as many colors, but it's insanely beautiful, over-the-top, luxurious packaging. And those, I will say, those liners, those jet black liners are gorgeous, and they stay in the waterline forever. When I swatched them, I couldn't even get them off of my arm, honestly. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a conversation I had with viewer Amanda Ford. Amanda and I were talking, and you can go see it in the comments underneath the Glamazon palette. And Amanda and I were talking about where his business is going. Amanda and I are both fans of Scott Barnes, but he's everywhere. Last summer, we had the introduction of those cute little $25 eye palettes. Then we went to this $120 palette that was a little bit of color and a lot of packaging. I think it makes a beautiful presentation, but people were quite shocked by the price. And Amanda was talking to me about the Holiday Vault, which she watched and says it was $525. Now you get just a huge amount of products in there, but they at this point do not appear to be sold separately. That may change, but at this point they were not sold separately, and it is a lot to ask of people to fork out $525. You get a lot for it, but he's not Charlotte Tilbury, so it's a little bit tough. I mean, he's certainly an amazing celebrity makeup artist, no doubt. But can a vault of makeup for the holidays command $525 without the name Pat McGrath or whatever attached to it? You tell me what you think. Amanda and I were chatting about it. That's why I brought it up. We were just chatting about it this morning. I would love to play with some of the makeup in that Holiday Vault, but I don't want to part with $525 for the privilege to do it. But maybe I'm wrong. Tell me your thoughts below, please. Meanwhile, we are moving on to Marc Jacobs. I am a huge fan of these cute little Marc Jacobs eye palettes. This is the cute little Cherrific one for the holidays. Look at that packaging. This is his Eye-Conic collection. I have most of the Eye-Conic palettes, and I like them. I think they're really well performing. This little guy is $49.50. Think what you want about the prices. These are precious little things, and when I say precious, I mean it. They don't travel well. Those that I have tend to break. I just love this one. These are really my colors. They're really cherry and really cute. This hasn't gotten a ton of attention because there is so much cherry rose right now on the market, but this is indeed Marc Jacobs' collection for the holidays, along with some lip shades and a highlighter. But let's look at the eyeshadow palette on my arm in the arm swatch, so you can just kind of get an idea. It's a very cute little Cherrific everyday eye look, and I have used this palette about 5 or 6 times, and I was never disappointed. Really, really pretty shades. Very pretty, very everyday. All right. We're about halfway through here. Let's keep going. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We got to talk about Pat McGrath. Pat McGrath has had so many releases lately, so I made sure to really get just the holiday releases. And remember, we're talking just eye palettes. Again, below, when you want to see my initial thoughts on these palettes, you can always click on the link that I have below, which will take you to my original initial thoughts. Let's start with the Pat McGrath Mega Mothership. This is a $78 palette, which for Pat McGrath is quite reasonable. It is cardboard packaging. It looks a little bit like this. It's got a mirror. It's got these slightly annoying little ribbons that keep making it flap closed. And it's got, oh my goodness, a whole mess of shades, 18 to be exact. Take a look there. You have mostly shimmer and metallic. I think there's only 3 mattes in here. But you can get some beautiful looks because the mattes, if you see, are very reasonable, easy, nice transition shades. We're going to show you the arm swatch of that in a moment, but I went ahead and arm swatched it next to its little brothers and sisters, which are the Celestial Divinity quads. I have all 3 of them here. These quads are adorable, whereas this guy is $78. The quads are $58, and they come in better packaging, nice, hard, beautiful packaging. So we have a few here. We have Risque Rose. Take a look. Oops, be nice if I held it up for you. We're going to see all these on the arm. We have Interstellar Icon. This is kind of the blue shade. And we have my favorite, that's going to be my recommendation, which is Fleur Fantasia, and that is this quad right here. Again, these little guys are $58. So let's take a look at the arm swatches while I clean up. Here we've got the Mega Mothership below. That's the $78 palette. And there it is all the way across the bottom row. That is the entire Mega Mothership. I ran out of room, so some of it even dipped below that. And above it on the left, we have Risque Rose. In the middle, Interstellar Icon. And on the right, Fleur Fantasia. What do I recommend? Well, $78 is an amazing price for a Pat McGrath palette that is this large. You don't get her gorgeous packaging, and you don't get any of the special shades. You know those baked, beautiful shades that we get on the $125 palettes? But for $78, this is a heck of a deal, and you can get some amazing looks out of this fella. Great gift for yourself, great entry-level Pat McGrath. But to be completely honest, my absolute favorite is the $58, I already told you, Fleur Fantasia. That is my favorite. This is absolutely just pretty. That is the best adjective for this palette. Pretty, 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 pretty. I love this palette. Okay, I'm back. I went to go get a drink. I'm like a carnival barker here. I have my Diet Dr. Pepper. Is anyone else totally addicted to diet soft drinks? It's so bad for you. It's my vice. I love it. So I went for my Diet Dr. Pepper, and I'm ready to continue my carnival barking here. Okay, so let's move on to Huda Beauty. I have here the Huda Beauty Naughty Nudes palette. Let's take a look. This is a $67 palette. You get some beautiful shimmers, some beautiful mattes, some beautiful marble shades, and you get this color here, which is called Slippery. Slippery is a kind of a rosy hued, as you see, gloss. Would that be the best way to put it? Let's look at the arm swatches of this $67 Huda palette. Slippery is not on there because it doesn't swatch really well, but I think it's really pretty on the face and on the eyes. I like it a lot, actually. So take a look there. Now, the detractors of the Naughty palette, I am not one of them. I like this palette. I think it's fun. I think it's pretty. I think it's easy to work with. I think it's flattering. If you are a Huda Beauty collector, which I actually am not, I pick and choose what Huda Beauty I purchase. But if you are a Huda Beauty collector, then you might feel that you have seen these shades before. A lot of people say it is a repeat of the other nude palette. If not, though, if you are like me and you pick and choose your Huda Beauty, I love it. I think it's really nice. I haven't made a bad look with it. I think it's beautiful. But like I said, people who own all of the Huda palettes have other things to say about it. To me, this is really well made. These are made, I believe this one is made in Europe. And some say that her smaller palettes are made a little bit cheaper. And these larger palettes have a better quality. I've been burned by her smaller palettes before, and I was gonna buy the new gold one, but I thought, no, it's one of the small ones. I will skip it. But this larger one, to me, this is worth the $67, and I really like the performance in it. Moving on. Okay, let's talk about Dior. Now, Dior's had quite a few releases recently, but I kept this just to the two Holiday 2020 quints, starting with Black Night. So there was Black Night and Golden Snow. I am taking out the little brushes. Why do they give us these brushes? Okay, so let's look at Black Night, which keeps wanting to lose one of its members there. So we'll hold that in. Here is Black Night. And there's also Golden Snow. Let's take a look at Golden Snow up in the corner here, just so you can have an idea what it looks like. And here is Black Night swatched on my arm for you. Black Night is interesting. When they say Black Night, they mean it. There's a gray black shade, a blue black shade, a black shade, and a red black shade, and silver. But on the eye, and again, you can see the original video below. On the eye, it is beautiful. And I passed on Golden Snow, but also a beautiful palette. Dior is working with new formulas that are lovely and super, they apply beautifully and are very flattering on the eye. Again, let's see, this is a $63 palette, if I didn't say so, and it is extremely pretty. It's not going to be one of my top recommendations, but if you're looking for something dramatic, especially for night, I don't think many of us are going to be going to many parties this year, but you know, maybe for New Year's we can cross our fingers. I don't know. At any rate, these are very pretty quints for $63. Let's get to the star of our show today, and that is Charlotte Tilbury. Charlotte Tilbury has 4 holiday releases in the eye category. Actually, she probably has more if we count some of the jewel pots, but we're just doing palettes today. So let's start with her first, which was the Bejewelled Eyes to Hypnotise. This is a $75 12 pan palette, and it is, ladies and gentlemen, it is extraordinary. All of the shades in here are beautiful. They are all flattering. They all perform incredibly well. There are shimmers and there are mattes, and I will say it, if I've said it once, I've said it a million times, Charlotte Tilbury makes eye makeup and makeup that makes you look pretty. She's not worried about it being editorial. She's not worried about it being shocking. She doesn't want to push boundaries. She wants you to look beautiful. And in Charlotte Tilbury makeup, you will. This 12 pan palette is absolutely gorgeous and does not disappoint. It is, as I said, $75. We'll look on it on the arm in just a moment. But I went ahead and swatched it with all of its brothers and sisters. So let's talk about the Dazzling Diamond Palette of Pops. This is a $53 palette. This is a palette of pops. What does that mean? They are all shimmer shades. This can be worn alone or with a friend if you want to put on some matte shades underneath. It could even be combined and used with and around the Bejewelled Eyes to Hypnotise palette. They can be worn together, or this can be worn alone. Next release, don't worry, we're going to look at them all together. The next release from her, Charlotte had a lot of holiday releases this year. And the next release was the Super Nudes Easy Eye palette. This is pretty much this is an all matte palette that was $57. It has kind of a warmer look and a cooler look with dark kind of grays and then these warm browns. It is an all matte look. I enjoy this palette. I have heard some complaints about this little $57 palette. I did not have any issues with it, but a lot of folks say that they had some staying power trouble with this, that it would wear off throughout the day and become kind of patchy throughout the day. Others found the shades involved too much work. I like that it took a little while to build up the shades. That didn't bother me at all, but I have heard complaints about it, so I wanted to be honest with you. And last but not least is the real star of the holidays, to be honest with you, which is the Charlotte Tilbury Fire Rose palette. This is a quad, and this little guy is $53. If you're wondering why my Fire Rose looks so pristine, if you watch my original video on this linked below, you will see that mine arrived damaged. And when I say damaged, it was falling apart. So I've been doing all my swatches and playing with that palette, which is almost disintegrated at this point. But this is the brand new one that I honestly haven't really touched. So it'll stay here with me. I will use it. I'm going to have to because the broken palette is a mess. Let's take a look at the arm swatches though. I put the Bejewelled Eyes to Hypnotise on the bottom. There it is, all 12 shades across the bottom. Then on the top, above left, is the Dazzling Diamonds palette of pops on the left. Super Nudes Easy Eye all matte palette in the middle top. And over there on the right is the Fire Rose on the very right. Of all the Charlotte palettes, what would I get? Easy. Fire Rose, Quad, and Bejewelled Eyes to Hypnotise. Which brings us to my recommendations for all of these. What are my recommendations for all of these? Every single one? Okay. In the Charlotte category, these two Charlottes are not to be missed. They are fantastic palettes. That is Fire Rose at $53 and Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotise at $75. Those are picks. If you are not a Huda collector and you want a fun little palette, I recommend the $67 Huda Naughty Nudes palette. Out of the, I also recommend, as you know, that we already talked about this, the Fleur Fantasia palette from Pat McGrath, which is a $58 palette. It is the last one I'm opening, of course, when you know, and it is absolutely beautiful and worth waiting for. I also recommend, as you know, the Glam palette from Natasha Denona and the four little quad $25 Fun Guys from Makeup by Mario. The rest, to be honest, you can pretty much live without. It's the truth. What other swatches do you need? Contact me here or on Instagram to help you out. Down below, again, as I've been saying, there are links to the original impressions from these videos. Also, shopping links where you can shop for these palettes down below. None of them are a waste of your money. They're all beautiful, including that Scott Barnes $120 one. None of them are a waste, but you have my recommendations. Feel free to disagree and to comment below. I love to hear what you say. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And if you have not already done so, the highest compliment that you can pay me is to subscribe to my channel. Tell me what you think, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy shopping.